Hey everyone, my name is Tim Newby and I'm a professor in learning design and technology here at Purdue. Many of you have been in my EDCI 270 Introduction to Educational Technology course, and from that you probably know that I work quite a bit with technology-based digital badges. I wanted to tell you, basically what we've been up to and how it may actually impact you. What we've done is we've created the Purdue Teacher Education Technology Badge Repository. Big long name, but basically it is about 50 badges that we've brought together that are broken down into 14 or 15 categories. Some of these you might have seen some parts of them within 270, but for the most part, these are different badges or they've been elevated to a different, we've added new challenges and other things to them. Those categories that we've devised, includes things such as, badges for video production, e-learning, website development, math education, all types of presentations, and on and on. We've created a great big badge group called Teacher Education, and we have included you in that group. Now, as long as you have a Purdue email, you'll be able to access and use those badges. For some of you, having such access won't make much of a difference at all. But for others, it should be, allow you, a number of benefits. One of those benefits is that you can earn a digital badge that will allow you to show others, including your potential employers, that you have competency with the use of specific technologies. That may or may not be important to you right now, but it may prove, really important to you as you attempt to get a job and, to differentiate yourself from others in the field. So a different type of benefit is that even if you don't care about being awarded a badge, this repository is a great place that you could just scan and go through and get information on what technologies are out there and what might actually help you to accomplish certain tasks that you have to do. So access that information. It's free and it's available to you now. So in other words, you don't always have to earn the badge. You may just need to see what the information is about so that you can use it most effectively. Now, there's also one other thing. We've let all the faculty within teacher education also within this repository, and they've been trained on how to use it. So you may find that many of your course instructors now not only know about this repository, but they may start to require certain badges as prerequisites to their courses or to specific course assignments. So be watching for that. Within your classes, they may be saying, hey, before you do this assignment, you have to have this badge. And so you'll know where to go to the badge to do it. Is there any catch to this? Well, there really isn't one. Being in the badge group doesn't cost you anything. So you're going to receive an invitation through your email to join the Purdue Teacher Education Technology Badge Repository. Okay, it's that group, and it's all within Passport. And of course, Passport is the system that we'll be using to access and use the badges. Accept that invitation, and you'll be placed in that group. We'll keep you in that group until well after graduation, if you so desire. That means you can have continual access to the badges. As new ones are added, you'll be able to immediately access those also. Once you decide that you want to use those badges and you submit your challenge levels, we have individuals who will look those over and give you feedback and help you to make sure that you attain that badge as you go through it and get to the competency level that you need. Now, if you've never used Passport before, or you're a little bit rusty and you would really like to see it being used again, I'll walk you through a brief introduction to the repository and kind of a demonstration on how this badge thing works. So watch that and enjoy. To actually get any work done on badges, you're going to need to jump into Passport because that's where the badge repository actually is. So what you want to do is go up here to www.openpassport.org. That's where you can find this website right here. If you want to find out a little bit about Passport, you can go down and take a look at it and it'll define it and talk a little bit about Passport itself. But this is the login page, and once you click on this login right here, your Purdue login ID will come up and you'll need to put that in so that you can get right into it. And once that happens, then this page should show up, which is the Purdue Teacher Ed Technology Badge Repository. The reason it goes there is because you've been invited to be in it. If you've accepted that invitation, you should be a member of this group. And you'll notice that on here, you'll have almost all of these things except for the instructor tools there. And you'll notice that these are all the individual badges. And so you can go down and you can take a look at all the various and different ones here, and there should be upwards of 50 different badges there, all of which have a title to them. So it'll tell you, and it'll tell you a little bit about it. And you can click on any one of these and we'll go to it and explain it. So as you're looking through these, what I wanted to do is just open up one and show you kind of what's inside. All right, so you come along here and you decide that you want to work with Poplet for whatever reason. So you click on Poplet, that's this certain badge, and you'll notice that inside of the badge we usually try to give you some type of an explanation of what it is, a short definition, if you will. Then you'll notice that there's a Get Started button, there's name, there's this wonderful, beautiful little icon that to the badge right there, and all of the metadata that's right here of who created it, when, and what organization. You can also quickly see what the challenges are like because they'll list the challenges here, and if you click on that, it'll drop down and say what you're going to be able to do or what you need to be able to show you can do to have that challenge accepted. All right, but basically read this and then hit the Get Started button. And when you do that, then it comes up and we go through, in almost all of the badges, the technology badges, we try to follow a similar format. That's not true for all of them, but in almost all cases, you'll find over here a couple different challenges. In this case, the first one will be Poplet as a tool and explaining it, how you would possibly use it as a tool, and then actually the use of it in the second challenge. And that's a format that we've tried to develop so that it's similar. Within this first one, there's an introduction, and then it basically tells you what it can do. We want you to be able to vision what this tool is all about and how it can be used. We try to throw in some pictures of it being used. So with Poplet, you can create these kind of things, all right, with this tool. And so here's 3 or 4 different views of how people have used it in the past. There's a nice video, a YouTube video that you can click on, and it'll explain even more about how to make Poplet as a mind mapping type tool. And so you have that. And then you've got different links here. And then there's a section on how can it be obtained? How can I get to it? Well, it'll tell you, then it'll give you a little click there. If there are costs involved, we try to include those so that you would know what it would be. Most cases, all of these have free, at least trial versions that you can use. So some people ask for what are things that are similar to Poplet or to whatever technology you're using. We try to include those in there. And then what ways can it be used from a K-12 perspective and also perhaps from a business and industry perspective. And in some cases we've put those in there. Other cases they don't match up so well, so they may not be there as well. And then what are some educational training examples? And in many cases we have these examples put within here again so that you can actually see ones. You can go there for example here to a science one on static electricity where they've used Poplet in this case, or Napoleon in history and that type of thing. Business and industry and training, they may also have that. So you can see this is what we're doing there. And then you finally get down to this section with instructions. And this is what you must do to show that you have the competency in actually understanding what this tool is. And you can look through there and it'll just basically say what you should do. So in this case, you reflect on the various ways that it can be used, and then you're going to write a couple paragraphs and describe that. And so it's just kind of a reflective area to do that. And so it tells you here, you know, use the open text tool in the next section and submit that. And so when you get ready to, you've thought about this, you've looked at all this information, you can begin this challenge by clicking on this, and it'll go to a section where you can actually make your submission. And so it'll have your name up in here, and then, or whoever's using it. And then down here it'll tell you exactly, you must include, for this challenge, you're going to put something in this open text area. So you're going to have to write a response in some way. You put that in there, and when you're ready to, you can also, in many cases, add videos, you can add documents, attachments, or you can add links. And sometimes these submissions change to what it is that are necessary. So you get down here and you go into the submit section, and once you click submit, then that locks what you have done, and it sends it to the grader, and the grader then decides what the quality is, and if there needs to be a rejection with resubmission, and how that should, and what type of feedback they should give, and then they'll send that back to you with that feedback and or accept it as it is. And so then you have that, and in a day or so they'll send that information back to you. And that's how you do it here, all right, with this. And that's for this first one. That's the second one here is using Poplet, is where we're actually asking you not just to know about it, but also to actually use it. And so in this case, here's step-by-step instructions for doing it. Here's some basic tutorials. The first thing is you need to go through some basic tutorials. So we've gathered some things together. You may actually go out on the internet and find better ones than that, but these will give you some example ones that you can use. And then it'll go through and say, hey, go to the website in Poplet and then create a Poplet account and then do these things. And it'll have a number of things that you must do. And we tried to pick out things that you can figure out how to do, look at the tutorials, learn how to do that, and that would be representative of somebody that would really understand how to use it, would be able to do those things, and they would include that in there. And so you add those things in there. And again, once you get ready to submit, you look down here for the criteria. In this case, once you get a Poplet done, what is it that we can do? Well, what we've asked you to do is create a screencast and basically go through it with us and show us what you've created and discuss that with us. And once you have that, then you submit a link showing us the screencast, which describes your Poplet and what you've done and how many Poplets you've created, etc., and those kind of things. If you don't know how to use screencast, then we've included some instructions for that, or you can actually do other badges on that type of technology and how to screencast. And of course, once you get done there, you begin this challenge by clicking on that. And in this case, it'll come up and say that what is required, a link is required because that screencast was there. And so you'll click on that link and it'll say put that link in here. And once you do that, boom, it goes to the grader. That's basically how you use Passport to get to the badges and how those individual badges are used. Hopefully that clarifies it for you. Thanks.